Okay, hey, my name's Ethan. I am going to teach a quick tutorial on hinging using a stick. I actually got this from Elliot Hulse, who got it from Paul Check. And if you haven't heard of either of them, you should go check them out. Let's go on. Okay, I don't really know what I was going with that. But anyway, so hinging is supposedly something hard to teach. What I'm talking about in lifting, okay, for your lower body, if you want to train the lower or posterior lower body, I'm talking about glutes, hamstrings, all this kind of stuff, some calves, right, or lower back too. Hinging is basically this, right? So you have a barbell, you do something that looks like this, okay? So with that, that's gonna obviously, like I said, train kind of the posterior chain. That is low back, glutes, hamstrings. You can do it with a barbell, dumbbells, whatever, it's totally up to you. But hinging is great, and it's complemented well by plenty of squatting. So hinging can be hard to teach or hard to learn because a lot of people, if you bend over, you're gonna bend over like a normal person and like children, like my son does this. And there's nothing wrong with this. You pick something up. So if you notice, I'm gonna take my sweatshirt off because I'm being a lazy educator right now. No more lazy educator. Okay, active wear. You pick something up, okay, look, watch this. Look at my back. I'm gonna pick this up, okay? Children do that. And then when you see people lifting weights, you see people setting, actually, when you set world records in the deadlift, their spine is gonna be rounded. Just a little bit, okay? Because in order to lift the most weight in the world, guess what? It's not gonna be biomechanically perfect, or your form is not perfect, and that's fine, okay? It's absolutely okay. When you bend over though, you see a lot of people deadlift like this. Why? Why is that? Well, very simple. The difference being, okay, when kids pick stuff up, when you pick your kids up, whatever, you're gonna do this, okay? Nobody needs to walk around their house picking up kids' toys like this, okay? Like a machine. You're not a machine, you're a living human being with feelings and things to do and a life to live, all right? So you don't have to be in the gym all the time. In the gym, a lot of people train hinging this way, okay? So the difference, back is straight, or even, a little bit of extension. Knees are gonna be bent more, whereas here they could be straighter, right? But that's basically just because this is gonna put more stretch, more load on the hamstrings, which is good if you want stronger hamstrings. If you wanted to train your low back more in a hinging kind of pattern, then all you're gonna do is do this with a rounded back. And then on the way up, you're gonna boop, kind of straighten up. See that? So basically, I'm doing this kind of wavy thing with my lower back. And people do this in a good morning sometimes, or seated or standing, but also really in a back hyperextension on a GHD. So glute ham developer machine thing, there's not one here, but basically people do that on that machine, and then sometimes the same person might tell you that it's wrong to go do that with a barbell. Makes no sense to me, honestly. It's fine either way, but if you want to develop the lower back, right, the spinal erectors, you're going to do this kind of thing. You could go about it that way. If you want to develop more glutes, hamstrings, you're going to stick the butt back, you're going to have this straight back, right? Boom, squeeze the glutes, kind of give the bar a baby, right? I have a t-shirt that says that. It's an old barbell shrugged shirt. I thought it was funny. So anyway, cool, okay, makes sense. Basically, when you change the position of certain body parts, you put more of the load into other ones. So you do this, more kind of lower back. You could literally just do this movement and you'll get a lower back pump. And then with this, hamstrings, right? You just try that, you'll feel it. But when it comes to hinging, this is kind of an overview of hinging, I guess, at this point. But I want to give a really good tool using the stick, teaching somebody how to hinge where the spine stays mostly straight, and just how to learn how to articulate your spine from your hips. So in this case, you just put the stick here. And like I said, I got it from Elliot Hulse or Paul Check. So you're gonna be here, and you got your glutes, you got this kind of lower back pelvis area. And then you got the middle of your scapula or your upper back. You can see that? Cool. Can you also see my fingers here? I got a little bit of wiggle room in my lower back. You have your lower spine has a curve. See that? So when you do this movement, if you just tell somebody, keep this in contact with your sacrum or your pelvis, glutes, and then the other one in contact between your shoulder blades, keep this touching right here. If you do the movement and you hold this here for them, then they're going to find this kind of thing happens a lot. Just say touch your upper back to the stick, boom, now their back is straight. And then if you really want to go and kind of be like how Elliot and Paul teach it, you keep your head to it as well, so it looks like this. See that? And then you can always check, wiggle your fingers. If you can't wiggle your fingers, that means the lower back's flattening. That means that they're losing that kind of arch in the spine. It's not necessarily bad, but it just means that it basically just means that their hamstrings are getting stretched to a certain point, whatever, that the lower back now kind of has to bend a little bit to get them to lean over more, because my hamstrings tap out right about here. Okay, so see my lower back? My hamstrings, in order for me to bring my chest lower to the ground, because most people see right here, they want to get lower to the ground, they're going to bring their face and all this closer. So to do that, I go around my back, or bend my knees more. Kind of see what I'm talking about? Okay, so anyway, this video is largely about hinging and deadlifting and all these kinds of things, and understanding that it's okay to round your back. It's okay. Really, it's okay to round your back. You're not going to get hurt. What's going to happen is, if you round your back, all of the muscles, all the connective tissue, your joints, everything is going to get some load placed on it in a flexed position. You're going to be okay. And it's going to get stronger. When there's more load placed on it, people are worried about injury. People are worried about, putting too much force or too much load on certain body structures. All that happens if you put load on other structures or on any body structure is the load induces tissue damage, which causes an adaptation, provided enough food and sleep and time to recover. So if you are worried about getting hurt in a certain position, don't worry, because you can just load the tissues progressively, start small and work your way up. I'm not saying to jump straight into max effort, max weight deadlifts with this kind of rounded back position, but you can progress to that and be just fine. In the meantime, I think it's also important to know, aside from point number one being that you can lift with poor form and you'll live. Okay, you're gonna live, you're gonna be okay, and all the structures, those tissue structures, are just gonna get stronger. That's all that's gonna happen. And then if you want to lift with a certain technique, okay, so if you want to utilize a certain technique, such as neutral spine in a hinge or a deadlift, just know why you're doing it. You're gonna strengthen the erectors in a kind of shortened extension position. So you're gonna get them strong in that kind of neutral-ish, or extended position. You're gonna put more stretch in the hamstrings. You're gonna load the hamstrings more. So if you want bigger hamstrings, that's how you do it. If you want bigger spinal erectors, do the wavy thing. Do the, do hyperextensions. You could do it standing or in a GHD. You're gonna be fine. But this is a great tool to learn how to hinge. And I highly recommend it. It's way better with a buddy. But yeah, it helps you kind of learn how to feel your body, how to understand how it's moving, and improve your relationship with it and appreciate it for what it can do for you. And just learn how to grow in skill and control, and then how to build certain structures. So cool. All right, I don't know any cool karate moves, so I'm just gonna call it. Hopefully that was educational, helpful, and I hope you use it wisely. Yep, good luck, have fun.